Welcome back to Ekascloud AWS Zero to Hero training series. In today's demo, we will host a static website in S3 and we'll connect to that S3 bucket using a website name. So to get a customized website name, definitely we should purchase a hosted zone, right? We need to purchase a domain. So that's what we are going to do. This is the basic diagram, architectural diagram. We will be providing a customized URL to the user. That user is entering that URL in the browser. He will be redirected to the S3 bucket where we hosted the static website. So when we purchase a domain, you know that we will be getting a hosted DNS zone. And in the hosted DNS zone, we will create a record. That record will be pointing to the S3 bucket. Also, we have to do a lot of other configuration in the bucket side. Let's move into the actual configuration. To purchase a domain, I have currently logged into the AWS Route 53 console and clicking on the get started. If you don't have a domain and if you want to register a new domain, you can opt this option. Suppose if your hosted DNS zone is already you purchased already with a third party vendor like a GoDaddy or Microsoft or whichever third party vendor, you can also transfer that hosted zone to AWS by using this transfer domain option. And suppose if you have a domain and if you want to create an additional hosted zone, you can opt this third option. Let's first stick into the register a domain option, clicking on the get started. And based on your the type of business and type of customers your company has already, they have suggested a name for your organization, right? So let's since this is a demo, I'm typing example.com. I'm sure that this name won't be available. I hit on the search button. See, now according to the result, this particular domain name is not available, and they are AWS is suggesting the available name similar to the name which we provided. Okay, so we can also take example tv.com and we can select this option, and this is the pricing per year for this particular domain name. You have to give $13 US dollar to AWS per year. Okay, and the validity is only 1 year. For the next year, based on the rate, you have to pay that amount. Okay, select this particular name and proceed to checkout. You make the payment, and yes, a hosted DNS zone will get created. Since I already purchased a domain, yeah, this is the domain I purchased last week. I'm going to the hosted zone, clicking here. So whenever you purchase the domain, a hosted zone will get created, and two by default two records will get created in the zone. You know that NS record and a SOA record. NS record is the name server record and SOA is the start of authority. That's the record name. Create, delete, modify, and read. For these operations, we need to have these two records mandatory. If any of these records are missing, the purpose won't work. We need, at the bare minimum, we need these two records. Now let's move to the S3. We need to create a bucket in S3. Create a bucket. I'm clicking on the create bucket option. Based on your customer, based on your access and the complaints, select the region, the associated region for your bucket. I'm selecting the default AP South 1 region. And when you select a bucket name, and if you want to access the bucket with a unique, a specific name based on your purchase domain name, like my domain name is magicpan.in, and I want to access the bucket using the magicpan www.magicpan.in. I'm adding www.magicpan.in. See, okay, this is the S3 bucket name which I am going to provide here. I hope this bucket name will be available. And ACL, basically I'm going to disable the ACL because I should be the owner of this bucket. And if you want to provide the S3 bucket at owner as a different AWS account, or authenticated users or any users, you can provide this ACL enabled. But in our case, I'm going to leave this as disabled. Okay, block all public access. I'm going to disable this. I'm going to enable the public access since this is a demo. If you enable the ACL, yes, you have to uncheck these two areas. Then only the whatever we mentioned in the ACL, those permissions will work. Okay, let's currently unblock everything. Okay, and yeah, I just enabled and check the warning message from generated. Bucket versioning, let's disable it. And encryption, let's go with the default encryption. Bucket key, whatever it is, let's disable the, I don't need any cameras for this bucket key. Object lock, let's leave it as disable. You know what is object lock, right? Okay, so I'm just creating the bucket. I hope the name will be available. Okay, so we created a bucket with the name www.magicpan.in, and currently the content, there is nothing inside this bucket. For our demo, I have created a web page here in, sorry, here in the HTML. So basically there are four images. Image 1, 2, 3, randomly I download from the internet, and this is the, I'll show you the page. So this is how our page will look like. And I have also created an error page here. This is the error page. So if the page is not available, or if you wrongly try to access an item inside the S3 bucket, it will throw this particular page. This is what I created. Okay, so we need to upload all these particular items to the S3 bucket. So that's what we are going to do. So let's move to the S3 bucket and upload area. So before uploading it, yes, we have to create the static website, right? To create a static website, let's go to the properties first and check the settings. Okay, so here, static website hosting. So currently it is disabled. I'm going to edit the entry. I just enabled it. And after enabling hosting type, I'm going to, this is the host a static website. This is the option which we are going to select. Okay, and yes, the page will be index.html, and I have created an error.html as well. I'm not going to use any redirection. Save changes. So we just enable the static website, correct? This is bucket versioning tags which we are not going to use. URL, this is by using this URL anyone can access the website. Now this is currently publicly accessible. We have not enabled any kind of access. Even though we enable the public access, we have to apply a policy to the bucket. Without applying the policy, we won't be able to access it. To apply the policy, okay, let's apply a policy to the bucket. So let's go to the permissions, and let's apply a policy. So to apply a policy, click on edit. Let's go to the policy generator tab. So here you select an S3 bucket, and basically this will be an allow policy, and the principal should be any principal, like any user want to access this. And Amazon S3 action, whoever want to access, they just want to see the data, so it should be get, right? Let's enable the get object. So where is the get object? Let's locate the get object. So I just enabled only the get object action and the ARN. So for getting the ARN, so this is the S3 bucket ARN resource name, and provide the resource name in the policy generator. So this is the target, and this is the action. Only we selected the get whatever the data, get it or display it, and the user is principal is star. Any user can access it. Just add and generate it. Okay, just copied it and paste it on the policy. Let's try to apply or save the. So we get a error here. Action does not apply to any resource in the statement. So this is the resource. Okay, let's looks like we need to apply a star here so that this policy will be applicable to all the resources under inside the S3 bucket. Now let's try to save. See, this got saved now. Or all the object inside the S3 bucket, this policy will get applied. What is the policy? Anybody can get get object. That means they will be able to see the content. That's it. Okay, so we have set up the policy. Now let's try to upload the files. Okay, so I'm going to the object and clicking on the upload. In this section, clicking on add files. Okay, so these are the files where my static HTTP content is loaded. Okay, clicking on upload. Succeeded. Go to the properties all the way down. Here is the try. Yeah, we got the page, but look at the URL. It is like a, it's not customized one. I want to access the URL like this: www.magicpan.in. This is the URL I should be using the for accessing the static website. So if I'm trying this URL, no, it's not resolving. To accomplish this task, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to the Route 53 service. This is our hosted DNS zone public. I'm going to create a record. Okay, I'm not going to explain the simple routing, weighted geolocation latency, which we will cover in a different topic. I'm creating a simple routing and clicking on next, creating a simple record. So www.magicpan.in, this is the record I want to create. It's a record, means name to IP record. Here I want to map the record to a service, S3 service. So typing this S3 endpoint here, and this is in AP South 1. Yeah, AP South 1. Yes, this is the S3 bucket which we created. So by typing this www.magicpan.in, this will actually invoke the S3. Redirect to S3 service, the bucket which we created, defining it. Okay, one important thing, I think I checked the edit. I checked the health, evaluate the health of the target. For an enterprise, they will be enabling this option, but I'm disabling it. Edit record. So I need to create the create record option. Okay, now the record is being created. It's created now. Let's try to access it. And see, finally, it worked. So that's about it. Okay, so what we did here, we went to S3, Amazon S3, and created a bucket with the name www.magicpan.in, because magicpan.in is our domain name, and this is the host record part. Anyway, so this is the name which we provided while creating the S3 bucket. And after creating it, what we did, we went to the properties and enabled the static website hosting. So after static website hosting, we uploaded some images and index.html and tried to access the page using the generic URL. The generic URL is here. We were able to access the page, right? So after accessing the page and confirming everything is working fine, what we did, we went to this DNS service Route 53 and created an error code. and that a record we pointed the record to the S3 service. Then try to access the page and we finally reach to this page. Now let's try to access another page inside this thing, like error or and typing something invalid command value. So it is redirecting to the error page. As simple it is. Or even let's try accessing the error.html here. Yeah, basically it will redirect to the error.html page. Okay, hope this is clear. If you have any questions, or if please comment on the video, I'll glad to answer your questions. Thanks.